What's not as sexy as most people seem to think it is? Porn sites asking you to connect your social media. You just reminded me. A while back I found a man whose YouTube channel was entirely dedicated to him giving face-on-camera reviews of various hentai videos and genshai he enjoyed or didn't enjoy. His IRL name was his YouTube channel name. As I watched the man spell out exactly what he liked about a particular mind control pig man fantasy or brutal forced impregnation rape dungeon, I had only one thought. I wish I had this man's confidence. I did not want his lack of social grace, or shame, or his terrible taste in pornography. I just wanted his unparalleled confidence and the joy that comes with honestly discussing something you love without internalized judgment. I wondered, what does his family think? And I realized, he does not care. His life was a gift to him, and he intends to use it as he pleases. I think of that man and his channel from time to time, and I sometimes wish I were as free as him. But, maybe, that confidence and lack of shame and freedom to openly talk about completely degrading and taboo manga as if it were part of the Criterion collection comes with a whole different host of challenges. Maybe being freed in such a way from one mental prison is being uncaged in another. The vastly more brutal prison of being a weird fucking weeb who blasts loads to 2D kids and will never be able to survive anything beyond the cursory googling of your name and email address. Yikes. Stupidity of any sort isn't sexy. I know that probably seems obvious when it's written out, but there are so many people who seem to think that acting like an idiot is the surest-fire way of attracting positive attention. We've all heard stories about influencers behaving in disruptive or destructive ways, but those are just the notorious examples. Really, you only need to scroll through any social media site to see everyday people either posting or applauding things that would only draw disgusted stares in the offline world. My guess is that it's just easier to play dumb than it is to make an effort or be sincere. But even though idiocy might draw in those precious likes, it really isn't as attractive as its online popularity makes it seem. My sister-in-law pretends to be stupid to reel a guy in, and it works a lot of the time, just sort of plays this airheaded bubbly personality. Once in the relationship she turns into a mean, controlling, untrusting psychopath, but that's for another thread. It's fascinating to see firsthand. She is working on husband number 3 and isn't even 35 years old. This new guy dumped her 3 times and she keeps coming back like a zombie. One of my exes was, hands down, one of the most beautiful girls I knew. She turned heads and was always being hit on. It was annoying, but it was basically a lifestyle for her. One of her features was that she had very thin lips. It really suited her and I thought she was all the more pretty because of it, especially when she smiled. And yet, it agonized her. She was always talking about permanent surgery, about having no lips, about how I was always lying to her when I told her I liked it, that all guys want girls with big lips. It was so rooted into her that I couldn't get her out of it. She got addicted to lip fillers, which didn't really do much, and routinely topping up her face. I have nothing against cosmetic touch-ups. If that's what you want, more power to you. But there's a psychological aspect to it that needs to be resolved beforehand, and in her case, she was deficient as a person without it. It wreaked havoc on her confidence and self-worth. This, despite the fact that guys were constantly hitting on her, that girls were always telling her she was the pretty one, that the whole world was shouting it at her. I still think about it sometimes, how rotten all this normalized beauty bullshit is, and how even the people who have it all will find something in themselves that they don't. That's so sad, especially because beauty standards change constantly. Thin lips used to be in like 15 or so years ago, so they'll probably be in style again in another 15 odd years, or more, or less. My numbers are likely off, but point is, It's horrible when a beauty standard is this unfixable without surgery body feature and then only a short time later it's opposite unfixable without surgery body feature, like that's a huge thing with nose jobs these days. Fun fact, when I was a preteen, I thought my thickish eyebrows were horrible and gross. I wanted to pluck them thin. My mom forbid me, and for good reason. If you pluck, they'll grow in more sparse, and thick brows will be coming back soon. So I never did anything to my brows. Now thick brows are in, to the point where I actually need to fill mine. That change took place over the course of like a decade. Dick pictures, even from someone I'm banging. Men just take terrible dick pics, like the angles and lighting are terrible. They just focus on the penis and without the rest of the person in the pic, it's just a weird E.T. looking mofo. Dick pics appeal to male sexuality. I'd prefer sexy pics for female sexuality, something like a crisp white shirt unbuttoned, glimpse of clavicle, strong hands, leaving lots to the imagination. Even a fully clothed shot holding a bulge is sexier than a dick shot emo. The key is to use a 3-point lighting setup and good dick grooming. Got to shave the balls and take the time to do good edge work, while leaving a neatly trimmed bouquet on the man's pubis. Then before starting the photo shoot, you must lower the temperature enough for the scrotum to get into its plump, round form as opposed to the saggy form, then get enough blood into the penis that it is in its maximum flaccid state. Erect works too, but I find that a plump flaccid state can be a treat for the eyes. When choosing a photo, you must consider composition and artistic intent. Is it a profile, A3/4, or straight on, or perhaps part of a series? Make good artistic decisions that tell a story and lead the viewer on an adventure. You want the recipient to cherish the dick pic for all time, and ideally, to print it out and put it in her logger to carry with her. Disclaimer: I've never taken a dick pic before. I will never understand anal gape or prolapse. I know it's probably not that popular, but even by fetish standards it's nasty. Edit, and for the record, X-ray has ruined many a hentai for me. Greater than. Or really, anuses in general. I totally get the idea of wanting to do sexual stuff involving a butthole, but I don't get why people like staring at assholes, or licking them, which on a safety level is questionable as hell. Shower sex, it looks great in movies, then you try it as a 6 feet 4 inches male with your 5'4" wife in a shower barely big enough for one, then the one not in the water is cold. Wife is dodging elbows while you're washing. Water is not the best lubricant either. Only time it is nice is when you get in one of those luxurious walk-in showers with a 10'X10 area with heated flowers and all that actual room. If you do have a beard, my god, learn how to groom it. A dry, bushy, unkempt mess isn't sexy. Wash it, use balms, oils and keep it clean cut. If I can see dead skin caught in your beard, you need to exfoliate or shave. ETA, since everyone has their knickers in a twist about me recommended balms and oils, beard hair is typically a lot coarser and drier than the hair on your head, and if you have any variation on curly hair, chances are you end up needing extra moisture where some others won't. Oil and balm doesn't make you dirty or greasy unless you're slathering yourself in the stuff. Most use minute amounts. I'm not doing this for anyone else, and neither do my friends with loud bikes and cars. We built them for our own enjoyment, not sexual. I just like engine sounds. There are however people that somehow think their exhaust is gonna get them laid, and that's where your comment comes in. To them, the only strangers talking to me about my bike are middle-aged white guys at gas stations that used to ride back in the day, or fellow motorcyclists at meetups. Not attractive women. You can usually tell the difference between people having a loud exhaust for their own enjoyment and posers by the location of the revving, fast driving on back roads, downshifts and tunnels. Enthusiast, flooring it in a mall parking lot, poser. This was a interesting experience. Kayak over to island in the middle of the intercoastal. Found a nice spot. Was pretty sandy, however. We had towels and a nice little pond of salt water next to us. The most interesting part of the endeavor was that there was a plane that was flying toward us. Me being a paranoid human, we quickly finish as the plane is approaching. We pack up and rush out of the area to our deserted kayak. Meanwhile, I look up and see the plane flashing their lights. They fucking saw us. Out of all the things that could have happened, never did a public act again. That's actually really common, even though it's unintuitive. But there's a big difference between fantasy and reality. No one actually wants to be raped, but the lack of control, fear, power dynamic can sound exciting. I think you hit the nail on the head. Really, what those people want is a dome experience, but don't know how to communicate that, and you should never do something you aren't comfortable with, even if the girl is asking for it. I have a friend who spent hundreds of dollars on various types of sweets, whipped cream, chocolate, ice cream, etc. to lick from his partner's body. It said it was horrible. Sex got all sticky and clammy and they both got sick of all the sweet stuff. They took long showers afterward and she never answered his calls again. 4. Small amounts of preventative Botox can really slow down the appearance of aging and stop you from getting wrinkles. Getting a lot so you look like you are made of wax looks unnatural and uncanny. Trying to undo decades of skin damage with lots of Botox when you are 60 looks gross. TBH, I would explore preventative Botox though with a good dermatologist, cosmetologist if I could afford it. But it's basically a subscription service to slow down skin aging, and by the time I can afford it, then I will be past a lot of the preventative stages. It goes away after like 6 months if you hate it, which is why I called it the subscription service. There are reasons really some wealthy people and celebrities look 30 when they are 40-50. And this is one. Good retinoids are another. Lower stress also helps a lot, but there are degrees of Botox application. It's also used medically to stop muscle spasms. A girl wanted me to go in raw. I asked her if she had any communicable diseases. She told me that was a huge turn off and I should just take it. Like. Sorry, I'm thoughtful enough to not spread herpes/gonorrhea/whatever else to myself and others, and shouldn't you at least be grateful that your partner has the foresight? I get it's not like a porno, but come the F on. Unnecessary plastic surgery, lip fillers, Botox, breast implant/augmentation, butt implant. So many of these women go overboard to the extreme and they look worse than Frankenstein's monster afterwards. The Kardashians, Jenners are prime example, found some of them more attractive before all of their copious surgeries. Now it's not what the posts ask for, but I'ma say it anyway. Plastic surgery should be for people deformed at birth or deformed from accidents or other incidents, like the one woman who got her face ripped off by a chimp and then got it redone, or for a woman who had breast cancer and had to have them removed, or some child born with cleft lip. Being super shy/reluctant/submissive, a little shyness and submission is fine. Reluctance, oh no. If you're not down, I'm not gonna push you, but I like some confidence and assertiveness in there. I'm not into doormats and I'm not into having to do all the damn lifting. Also, pouting your lips and widening your eyes, not just women. I've seen guys do it too. Granted, they were gay, maybe it's not a straight guy thing, maybe it is with certain straight guys, I don't know. It just looks so creepy and stupid. Though, who told people it was sexy? People trying things they saw in porn without asking their partners first. Choking, slapping my vagina. WTF is that even about? ? trying to forcefully bend me in ways that a body does not actually bend, squeezing my tits like they're trying to crush a beer can, trying to put things in the back door with no lube, and jackhammering all come to mind. Everyone's different, and some like the things I just listed. I don't. Just because it's in porn doesn't mean it feels good to everyone. Freaking ask. It's not hard. In 6th grade, a boy who like me felt he was a hopeless romantic for watching movies where guys did that and emulating them. For me, being very small and already a traumatized ball of nerves, having a boy throw rocks at my back window in the dead of night when I never told him where I lived and then later tell me he carved my name in his walls was ... distressing. Showing up to my dad's place unannounced by following me from a distance and introducing himself to my dad as my boyfriend was maybe a bit worse. The first of only 2 times I went to a strip club. I was 18 and in my city there are 2 kinds of strip clubs, G-strings plus alcohol or fully naked and no booze. Apparently you can't mix alcohol and vulvas for some reason. Went to the fully naked kind since I wasn't old enough for the boozy kind. It was some low-rent place. Anyway, at one point I needed to pee and they had no women's bathroom, so they directed me to use the bathroom in the dancers' changing room. Walked in and what little magic there had been in the club disappeared. 2 dancers were arguing with each other, another was breastfeeding her baby, which is lovely and wholesome but not usually part of the stripper fantasy, and right next to her was another pouting fat trails of coke. Edible underwear, just number. Edit. I had no idea this comment would get any reaction at all, but here we are. For the record, I've never tried them, but an old roommate had gotten them for his then GF, thinking it would spice up their love life. He said it was an epic failure, and they were an awful, sticky, disgusting mess. 0-10 Thanks for the awards and upvotes. Licking your lips constantly the way some rappers like to do in videos or when giving interviews. To me it's a turn off, like you have a dry lip problem, or even worse, you're consciously drawing attention to your lips as if to say look at how sexy they are. It's the male version of the trout pout and gets an O from me. ETA. Okay, loads of people mentioning LL Cool J, and I just have to say respect to the Og. Yes, he did it a lot back in the day and it was a bit annoying ... but come on, he's LL and still fine as hell. For the record, I actually find him really sexy, and I know I'm not alone there. He just exudes sex appeal. I have one girl I'm friends with that I've had to repeatedly tell I'm not interested in anything other than friendship with her. Her and her husband have some weird relationship where they are always separated or together. Sometimes they swing, sometimes they just bang whoever and argue about it. I have zero interest in seeing how doing anything in that mess would play out, and it annoys me when I've got to tell her, and it becomes very awkward when you can't look at someone without them thinking you're flirting. Really loud, obnoxious moaning in porn. Call me weird, but I enjoy sensual, relatively realistic porn. It also helps that this type of porn is usually produced ethically, and caters to women as well as men. Edit. Updating this as I was pleasantly surprised by the response. As for content you can find through Reddit, I'd recommend r Chick Flicks as a great source to find ethically produced porn. I'd also recommend r Gone Wild Audio if you're interested in audio porn. There's a lot of very talented voice actors and actresses on there and similar subreddits. Today's sex session is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, one of the biggest mobile role-playing games of 2019, and it's totally free. Currently, almost 10 million users have joined Raid over the last 6 months. And it's one of the most impressive games in its class with detailed models, environments and smooth 60 frames per second animations. All the champions in the game can be customized with unique gear that changes your strategic buffs and abilities. The dungeon bosses have some ridiculous skills of their own, and figuring out the perfect party and strategy to overtake them's a lot of fun. Currently, with over 300,000 reviews, Raid has almost a perfect score on the Play Store. The community is growing fast, and the highly anticipated new Faction Wars feature is now live. You might even find my squad out there in the arena. It's easier to start now than ever with Raid's program for new players. You get a new daily login reward for the first 90 days that you play in the game. So what are you waiting for? Go to my profile, click on the special links, and you will get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. Good luck, and I'll see you there after I fuck you.